Where are you from, Karisma?
From Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. How old are you?
25 years of age.
Okay. And why are you here today?
Well, I'm here for help. Help to get myself together through the troubles and the trauma that I've been through in life. More like my life wasn't so heavenly and peacefully like everybody claims that life really is. It's kind of more harder than usual. But I came here because I think that I have a better chance of getting a greater outlook of who I am and what I can become.
What life is like for someone like yourself in Baltimore or in a major urban city. I'm not saying your life is the same as everybody else's, but there's a lot of commonalities of things and events that happen in your life too. Other girls like yourself. Starting at the earliest age, how was your life growing up that you can remember?
Well, the things I can remember at the earliest age, me being molested by my grandfather, also having a family member also leading me to get raped, smoking, drinking as a child from the age of 6 till God's know when. I finally found a place where I could feel safe and at ease, that I wouldn't even have to think about smoking or drinking. That's what I found in this program. So that's mostly and mainly why I'm here, and also making a better person of myself for me and my child and people around me.
Okay. What happened? Let's start with your grandfather. How old were you and when did this happen?
I was 5 or 6 years old when I remember. He used to dress me up like a grown woman. He used to have these silicone breasts and makeup and stuff, and he said that it wasn't nothing wrong with it. It's just a game, and it's between us, and it's okay, it's normal. Then it led all the way up until I was at least 9 or 10 when I really realized that it wasn't right. And he used to wean me into it by, he'd say, oh, I will buy you this and get you that. And that's me being a child. I'm like, okay, but not knowing that it's actually wrong. That is, he actually touching on me in places where I really felt uncomfortable. But at that time, I wasn't really even sure was it right or if it was wrong. Because he was the adult, and okay, for an adult tell you something that is okay, you think that is okay. Mainly.
How when you found out it's wrong?
I found out it was wrong once I actually heard another person say that they went through the same thing by being molested by somebody in their family, and I went to my parents and my grandparents and them, and basically they shut me out and said that it never happened, I was lying, I'm just making up stories. But I don't understand why would they say that, because they also told me in their life it happened to them. So,
By the same man?
by the same man.
So you went to your mother, you went to your dad, you told them the details of everything, and they denied it.
Well, not my dad. My dad wasn't never really there for me at those point of times. He denied me even after the DNA test came out that I'm his. And another guy actually raised me and did a great job. And he's the one that put it to my mom and my family attention that, okay, as me being as young as I was, why would I make something up like that? It's impossible for a child to constantly keep the same story that went on. So it's kind of crazy how family actually shuts you out and blindside the real actions that goes on in your life so they can basically so they won't be embarrassed. Things like that. They want to keep it indoors, mostly.
You had indicated that you've been drinking since the age of 6. How'd that happen?
Well, my grandmom started giving me cans of beer probably younger than 6. The people that only could help me just ignored me.
Meaning your mother and...
My mom, my grandma, my aunts, and people that really should have been there for me, the females in my family that should have been there because they know it's hard for females out here and things is easier to happen to us. And it happened to them, so I felt as though that, okay, since it happened to me, why didn't they shelter me or keep me out of harm's way or try to at least get me out? To try to get me to sleep, but then it graduated to Jack Daniels and other things, but then over time it just got worse, and once I got older, I felt as though, okay, my grandmom gave it to me, so why not drink? I felt as though wasn't nothing wrong with it. Okay, I just started drinking, then my drinking ended up getting worse and worse to the point that I was able to consume 1.5 gallons by myself in one night.
At what age?
From the age of 12 all the way to 24.
Wow. Okay. Where was anybody at during this time? Was there anybody you could go to?
Well, not really, because my mom and them always busy worked and went to school, and I was mostly always around my older siblings, like my sister, my older cousins, and things like that. But they was older than me, so they also did things that wasn't prohibited for me, but also seen them do things, so that made me also want to experience what they was doing because they said that it was so much fun. It seemed like it was fun back then, but as in time growing up, I don't see it so much fun now.
What did your cousin do to you?
Well, my cousin set me up, drugged me to get raped so she can keep her boyfriend at the age of 12.
How did that help her keep her boyfriend?
I had to know by giving me to him, basically, so-called saved their relationship, and it traumatized me because I shut down for a nice amount of years, and I forgive her, but I also don't, because why would family put you in harm's way that way at the age of 12? Innocent, not knowing what's going on. I sit my Smirnoff ice cooler down and went to the bathroom. For some reason, she didn't want to walk me. And okay, I was like, okay, I'll just go myself. And when I came back, my mom always told me, once you open your drink and sit it down, don't pick it back up. But as she being my cousin, I trust her, and I finished off my drink and I started feeling dizzy, and that's the last thing I remember. But when I woke up, my private area was hurting. I couldn't hold my bladder. I was bleeding from my vaginal area. My mom, I was scared to tell my mom because I thought that they was going to say it was my fault. But when I did let my mom know, she took me to the hospital, and that's when I found out that he gave me chlamydia, my first time.
Were there any charges pressed against him? Or your grandfather or anybody?
No, everybody just basically shut it out like it never happened. So, no. I got pregnant at 13. I didn't want to keep her because I was too young and I still wanted to go to school, but my mom said that it's against God and you'll go to hell for that. So basically I was forced to have her, and she also said that she would be there to help me, which I didn't really get much help from her. She cussed me out if I even needed baby pampers. I used to literally have to sell myself for my daughter to get clothing.
At age 14?
14. All the way until 16, I finally stepped up to what they call a bigger level in life. I started hustling and doing other things that's not really right. But I had to survive and take care of mine. I wasn't even able to finish school because even the schools were scared for me to be in regular school because how much anger I had. I always wanted to fight. Just fight, fight, fight. And since I was pregnant, they wanted to send me to a pregnant school, and which I did not want to go there because I had a very bad attitude problem and anger. So I didn't feel as though that me being around a whole bunch of emotional pregnant females, that's going to just send me more off a deep end.
Has this happened to many other girls that you know?
It happened.
Maybe not the same, but similar things?
Yeah, similar things happen.
Like the rape and the molestation?
Yes. I also had a couple homegirls that mom used to sell them to the drug dealers just to get her fix and stuff like that. I used to take food out my house to feed them. I also used to steal money from my mom so they can have clean clothes, clean drawers, and stuff like that. And they didn't have no electricity, no hot waters, nothing. So basically their mom prostituted them so she can get high.
Was this a lot of your friends?
I had a limit of female friends because I was going through my own dramaful and harsh life. I really didn't want to really bring in any other females because me, I'm very sensitive and emotional about rape, molestation, and things like that, and the way, and when other females tell me about what happened to them in their life, it actually hurts me, and it seems like it's more weight on my shoulders. So I tried to keep my circle very small, and I like to keep myself distant from people because I really didn't like to really talk about my life or tell people like what happened to me and things like that, so nobody won't judge me.
Did you talk to many people about it that you could confide in?
I had one therapist that I really connected with, and when I told her my story, I was her last patient. She quit. She said she couldn't take it. So.
How old were you then?
I was at 17 years old.
17 years.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's really okay. Take your time. Hang on.
It just got harder in time as I got older. Having to work at the club. That was a life. Having different guys grab on you, and basically you have to be what they want you to be unless to survive down there and things like that. And the things that I seen, the things that I witnessed, is just like outrageous. But I had no other choice. I started at the age of 17. I stole my friend ID because she was 18 at the time. And I looked like her, so I started down the block at 17 all the way until I was 24. And it didn't, in the beginning, it was easy because I stayed high and drunk, so basically. But after all that, the drugs and the drink wear off, I feel disgusted. I felt like nothing. Because my family really didn't care to help. I would get cussed out if I even asked for $5 to get something to eat. So I had no other choice but to make the decisions that I made.
You're in this hard area. Is it safe to assume that all the other girls you were around went through the same things?
They probably went through the same thing or worse. Because I heard stories about girls being pushed out of cars going 60 miles per hour on the highway. One of my homegirls got shot in the head and they put her body behind an elementary school. I had a best friend, and he was my best friend. And he went to go take me home, and out of nowhere, someone rolled up beside him and shot him in his head, and that tremendously sent me to a dark hole because his head was on my shoulders and blood everywhere. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't see. I couldn't do anything. It's kind of hard to actually live in Maryland because you can't even speak to someone without them wanting to fight you or thinking something negative, anything like that. It's more bars and more clubs than schools or libraries or playgrounds. the hustlers down there, they basically destroyed the kids' playground. So where do the kids go? There's no recreation centers no more. It's nothing.
Where are you from, Karisma?
From Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. How old are you?
25 years of age.
Okay. And why are you here today?
Well, I'm here for help. Help to get myself together through the troubles and the that I have a better chance of getting a greater outlook of who I am and what I can become.
What life is like for someone like yourself in Baltimore or in a major urban city. I'm not saying your life is the same as everybody else's, but there's a lot of commonalities of things and events that happen.
Trauma that I've been through in life. More like my life wasn't so heavenly and peacefully like everybody claims that life really is. It's kind of more harder than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But I came here because I think
In your life too, other girls like yourself. Starting at the earliest age, how was your life growing up that you can remember?
well, the things I can remember at the earliest age, me being molested by my